get this put out there when it says I'm live. Alrighty. Need some copyright-free hold music.
Play MJF's music.
Bump. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Alrighty. So, hello everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Just Us Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I am the Athletic Geek, joined on the other end of the tin can string this week, just by CJ.
Yep.
Yes. Easy is on his way to.
No, he's there.
Yeah, there he's there. He is at Indianapolis right now for the biggest race of the year. So hope he has a good time. But unfortunately, not only does he get to see the race, but he also get to be on the show for Double or Nothing week, which, his loss. Actually, he's coming out way ahead being there. But anyway, if you've never seen this show before, this is the Just Us Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I met CJ locally, and even though they're not here, I went to school with Nick and met Easy at All In and Starcast. We love wrestling. We love talking about wrestling. We love sharing our love for wrestling with each and every one of you out there. However, just like each and every one of you out there, we are just fans. Our opinions are that of any other fan. We avoid insider terms. At the end of the day, we're not insiders. We are not wrestlers. We are just marks. And yeah, we're just going to jump right on into it right now. Real quick, going to talk about Dynamite. I think it was a solid go home show. Just kind of speaking overall, I thought the MJF and Wardlow and Spears stuff at the beginning of the show was done about as perfect as you could get it to tell that story. Miss Ace in the house. I feel like that. That was good. The Hangman promo's good. The only thing that I'm intrigued by is, and this is shout out for Wrestling Ranting on Twitter, and for pointing this out, but Hangman is the third person to point out that no one wants CM Punk there. So leads me to wonder what's going on. Like that keeps going. Everybody keeps going back to that point, so I wonder if that's something for down the road, or if it's just something that they're eventually going to go like, oh, only the sour grape people that are bad don't want CM Punk here. CM Punk is great. We'll see if that's the case.
If they don't realize they've done it 3 times.
That could also very well be a possibility. Who knows? I thought Tony Khan had a plan until like the last 2 months, and I feel like he doesn't have a plan. Or at least not as big of a plan as we thought he did for the last couple of years. So, yeah, there's all that, but everybody is here for one thing, and that is to hear our Double or Nothing predictions. And yes, there will be a contest. It will be posted tomorrow. For Double or Nothing, prizes will still be the same, except they're double. First place gets double. Second place gets double. Third place gets double, because it's Double or Nothing. So be sure to enter that. Be sure to, normal rules apply, but if you're a first-time watcher, post on my social media pages on Twitter, Facebook, or on my Instagram who you think will be the winner for all the matches at AEW Double or Nothing. Each correct answer is worth 1 point. Every title match is worth 2 because you must predict not only who the winner is, but if it will be a disqualification or a new champ. The highest 3 point amounts will be given first, second, and third. First place will be a t-shirt, a loose action figure, a comic book, a DVD, and something else, right? Oh yeah, if you beat me, you can maybe win a poster. So
Lord have mercy. You forgot your own rules already.
I forgot my prizes. It's weird doing it from this place. I don't have. in the new room, I don't have like all of them. I can just be like, and here's and there's the DVDs. I don't have as much. Everything's put away in a different area, and it feels weird.
Well, isn't it two of everything? Because
Yeah,
it's
but it's
double.
double or nothing. It's two, except the bonus prize. There's only one bonus prize.
But then it's two comic books, two loose action figures, and two T-shirts,
And two DVDs.
and two DVDs.
Yes. Second place is two loose action figures and two comic books, and third prize is two comic books. So, good luck to everybody, and you will have until 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday to get your predictions in. On my social media pages, do not comment on this video. Your predictions, be sure to, for the first time, I'll reiterate them at the end of the episode. Be sure to post them on Facebook.com/AthleticGeek89, Twitter @Athletic_Geek89, Instagram @AthleticGeek89, and post them publicly. Do not DM them to me. We have to keep them public record so that everyone will know it is fair. So without any further ado, let's get to predicting. First match, Hookhausen. Hook and Danhausen versus Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling on the buy-in. CJ, who you picking and why?
Sorry, who's the first? What's the first match?
Hookhausen versus Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling.
Oh, we'll go with Hookhausen.
Yeah, you got to.
Hook can't lose yet.
No. Unless Danhausen takes the pinfall.
That's still a loss for Hook, and I don't see that happening yet.
Yeah, I'm going with Hookhausen as well.
That doesn't endear Hook to Danhausen, or Danhausen to Hook, so that doesn't work for me, brother.
No, it doesn't. I'm going Hookhausen as well, and EZ sent in his picks, and he is also going Hookhausen. So, seems like it's Hookhausen across the board. Next match, at least according to Wikipedia, is for the TBS Championship. It is Jade Cargill with Kira Hogan and Red Velvet versus Anna Jay. And dogs are angry.
I think there was a cat.
Oh, a cat. Well, I'll just go ahead. EZ is picking Jade. Did not say whether he thinks it'll be a new champion or a DQ, but he's picking Jade. I'm picking Jade as well. It is entirely too soon for Jade to lose. I feel like a lot of people were very angry about a decision that was made on Dynamite. But and somebody losing because of that decision, but I think that's going to be her path, and there's another path being taken for that match we'll talk about later on. CJ, have you calmed the pups down?
Hopefully, we are on high feline alert up here, but I think for the moment we are chill. So I say Jade as well.
Yep. Jade across the board. Third match, 6-man tag team match. The House of Black, Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King versus Death Triangle, Pac, Penta, and Phoenix. CJ, who you picking and why in this one?
I don't think it matters either way, and I think that is
sad.
The saddest thing I've ever had to say.
Yep.
We'll go with House of Black because they desperately need it.
Well, we just got a message that somebody else might be joining us. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see if Brock Lesnar shows up. He might also be not showing up. It's kind of like Brock Lesnar, isn't it? Next match is the Hardy Boys versus the Young Bucks. Oh, and Easy is also picking House of Black. I'm going House of Black as well. You got to go with them. But Young Bucks versus Hardys. CJ, who you picking and why in this one?
We're gonna go Hardys. I don't know how you don't do the Hardys at this point, especially after the promo that they had on Wednesday night. It
Yeah,
just it seems like they're making a big run. So
yeah, you got to go with the Hardys, even though like I don't want to see this match. I don't think it's going to be better than 5 years ago. I think it's I don't want to see it, but there's money in it. I'll say that much. And Easy's pick was Hardy's as well. We're we're agreeing on too much. We got to have something new happen. Um, Jericho fifth match, Jericho Appreciation Society um, versus Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz, and the Blackpool Combat Club of Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. Anarchy in the Arena match. CJ, who you picking and why in this one?
okay, I'll go with what I think that nobody else is going to say. I'm gonna go with the Jericho Appreciation Society winning this one. And I think they need to, because I personally would like for them to set up going into Blood and Guts. I think the 5-on-5 is the way to set it up for Blood and Guts, and I'm kind of selfishly hoping that we get that in St. Louis.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath for any them throwing us any bones in St. Louis, but
Well,
we'll see.
this is step one of my master plan to get Blood and Guts in St. Louis. Like I have any control over anything at all. Um, but Jericho Appreciation Society wins it. I think Jericho kind of forecasted maybe they're going to have some partner problems on the other side that they need to
Yeah,
address, clean house, and then reattack. It's not going to hurt the Blackpool Combat Club to lose one, but it would probably kind of diminish the Jericho Appreciation Society at this point if they
yeah,
didn't win.
you got to have something for them to come back from, and this is just kind of that. Um, yeah, you got to go Jericho Appreciation Society in this one. Easy's pick was Jericho Appreciation Society. Damn it!
Well,
Damn
damn
it!
it,
We're agreeing on everything, and that's
I
the.
really didn't see him saying that.
Hmm. Well, the next one is maybe, unless they're really planning a big swerve, maybe the most obvious one MJF versus Wardlow. If Wardlow wins, he is released from his contract with MJF. If MJF wins, Wardlow will be permanently banned from signing with AEW because that's how contracts work. Uh, CJ, who are you picking and why in that one?
Okay, okay, I can do this. I can do this. MJF. There's a loophole here that maybe Wardlow doesn't sign with AEW. He signs an agreement with ROH, which is a separate company. That's my pick. If you tell me Easy picked that, I'm going to scream.
He did not, in fact, pick that. He is agreeing with me, and we're both going Wardlow. He's way too over to not be used on AEW proper right now. I mean, he just is. He is. So I am going. I am going with Wardlow in this one.
Lame.
Yep,
Think
and
outside the box.
think outside the box. Swerve, bros, swerves. And speaking of swerves, hold on.
Are we swerving?
We are swerving, and may not like how we think it is.
Swerve.
All right. Swerve, swerve. Now I'm getting swerved. All right. We have to redo this call to get the whole. Yeah, here we go. There's. All right. Hey, everyone. Brock Lesnar showed up. All right. Nick is in the house. Nick, do you want to go over? Uh, let's just get your predictions in. Hookhausen versus Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling. Who have you got and why?
I'm sorry, have you guys started the predictions already?
Yes, we're about halfway through,
Oh,
But it's fine.
well,
but it's fine. It's
maybe
fine.
We're
You're
more
much
good.
like
happier now that you're here.
a Seth Rollins moment than a Brock Lesnar,
Bum,
in all
bum, bum, bum,
fairness.
bum, bum, bum. Well, we call you Brock Lesnar because sometimes you're going to be there and sometimes you're not.
um, this one is that one's obviously Hookhausen, I would
Yeah.
say. I don't think anyone would guess otherwise. As good as both of those guys are, I think Tony Nese is an awesome wrestler and Mark Sterling's an awesome manager. They just are put in this position to lose. That's the only reason they're in this match. So
Yeah. Uh, TBS Championship, Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay. Who you going with and why?
Jade Cargill.
Okay.
And I don't, yeah, I don't think anyone, I don't know why anyone would not pick that.
I agree. I else said there? Do we seriously have all pin MJF wins? Um, yeah. House of Black, Malachi, Buddy Matthews, Bird King versus Death Triangle, Pac, Penta, and Phoenix. Who you picking and why in that one?
Okay, this one's a little more difficult than the last two. There are a lot of matches that are not slam dunk results on this card compared to usually AEW.
Even though the three of us, because Easy sent me his picks, have been in agreement until the sixth match.
Really?
Yeah, so
Well, I feel like this isn't usually AEW is pretty. You can tell who's going to win because their stories make sense. And not that they don't in this pay per view. It just seems like there's more unpredictability. But um,
He's being nicer than I was about this
yeah,
match.
because we basically said like no one nothing matters in
I
this
think House
match.
of Black.
Yeah, I think I was across the board there. Hardy Boys
Was it?
versus the yep. Hardy Boys versus the Young Bucks. Who have you got and why?
Um, Young Bucks.
Okay,
Oh.
there's a different one. Um,
Young Bucks don't lose that often, for one thing.
yeah, but we cited the promo. Or
Yeah,
CJ cited the promo, but that kind of was in agreement with her.
the
The
Hardys promo.
Yeah, like they're setting up a big run, so you might have to kind of give them something.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish FTR was on this pay per view instead of the Bucks though. Um, the
Yep,
only reason the Bucks are on
yep.
this card is because they're EVPs.
Hmm.
Um, they have no storyline and no momentum. But yeah, I think the Bucks will win just because I would like for the Hardys to win and go on a little bit of a run, but I don't see that happening.
All right, and Jericho Appreciation Society versus Kingston Proud and Powerful in the Blackpool Combat Club and Anarchy in the Arena. Who have you got and why in that one?
Jericho Appreciation Society.
That was across the board as well.
Yeah. Just because I think it's if I didn't believe it was leading up to Blood and Guts, I would pick the other team. But because I think that it is, and also Chris Jericho's feuds, like he does like 3 feuds a year because they all last like 4 months.
Yeah.
So this isn't a one and done.
FTR versus Hardys at Forbidden Door All Out. Maybe All Out. I feel like at Forbidden Door, they're kind of. FTR's been name dropping the IWGP tag team titles a lot, so maybe they get a shot at that at Forbidden Door. That's my take there. And MJF versus Wardlow. CJ says that it's going to
Don't
be
tell
him.
him.
Okay.
Let him be free
Okay.
of mind and clear.
Who you got and why?
Wardlow.
All right, so it's 3-1.
Wardlow just makes sense. This is one of those AEW. The decision is obvious, but it's a good thing that it is.
Now, see,
Situations, in my
she
opinion.
says that Wardlow loses and then signs with ROH.
Swerve.
If ROH had TV, maybe.
Yeah, I said Wardlow's too over to do that too. I think.
Right now, signing to ROH is like being signed to like the kitchen. Like you're not gonna be on TV, and if you can't be on I guess you could still be on AEW TV.
Yeah,
as a
I
Ring of
mean,
Honor wrestler, but
he's got some people that he signed for ROH that are on AEW, and he said that he's gonna use them back and forth. So I mean,
yeah,
we could get an announcement at the pay-per-view that ROH has a TV deal. He just finished the docs, officially owning the company like 2 weeks ago, so it's
yeah.
possible.
I would like MJF to win just because, in a way, I wouldn't because that doesn't make any. I you know he's been an asshole for this whole feud, but I don't like him losing two big feuds in a row. But
Well, then what you do is you just let him go on a tear all summer, go to All Out, and beat CM Punk or Hangman Page for the title.
that's what I would do. Yeah, I think I
Yeah,
would have
okay,
him
he
lose two in a row and
loses.
then
He
make it up.
loses,
But
and then he just kicks all the ass this summer, and then wins the title, and then you're like, oh, oh, oh,
forget about it.
yeah. Hello, hello, Ray's in the house. It's you. All right. So the seventh is the match that apparently pissed the internet off, and apparently Britt Baker is the um, worst person ever. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus either Ruby Soho or Chris Statlander. We'll do double predictions, but I don't know. This one's kind of interesting because they're gonna try and do Rampage live. So I guess for this one, not for the contest, but just for this stream, I'm going to say your prediction and then also state that if the other person wins on Rampage, if you feel like that is going to would change your mind, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, Nick, who you picking and why in this one?
Well, for the first half, anybody who's not Britt Baker. But my specific, I think, I don't know. I think it really needs to be Ruby Soho.
Mm-hmm.
But part of me thinks that it's going to be Chris Statlander. And I'm less secure about Chris Statlander beating Britt than I am Ruby Soho beating Britt. So um, I'll still go with whatever good
So,
guy wrestler, but I'm gonna say I think it's gonna be Ruby Soho.
so you don't think that it would be so okay? You say Ruby Soho, but you don't think if Statlander wins that she'll beat Britt?
No, I think whoever wins on Rampage wins the whole tournament. But
Okay,
I think I'm more confident that I really don't know who will win Friday, but um, I don't know. I think I'm more confident that Ruby beats Britt than Statlander beats Britt, but I
okay,
still think that they win either way.
all right. CJ, who are you picking and why?
So I'll kind of start with what I think is going to happen Friday. I think that the new Chris Statlander beats Ruby Soho. It's not what I would do, um, but I think that's what they're going with, and you're kind of in a lose either way because Ruby really needs some wins,
Mm.
but Chris Statlander is kind of coming back with this new character and needs some push on that. So I think that Chris Statlander wins Friday. I think uh, the Good Doctor wins the tournament.
Okay. Um. So I think Ruby Soho wins, and if Ruby Soho wins on Rampage, I think she wins the whole tournament. Because you kind of, if Ruby Soho wins, like you have a story there where she's finally wins her big accomplishment. She lost in the TBS title tournament. Lost to Britt Baker for the world title after debuting at All Out. So not only does she get her revenge on Britt, she gets her first big accomplishment, winning the Owen. So that is what I think will happen if Chris Statlander wins. I don't think she wins the whole tournament. I think Britt Baker does at that point. So I'm confident that Ruby Soho wins and they go that route. But if they don't go Ruby Soho, it's the Good Doctor. And the Good Doctor was also Easy's pick.
I think the
I
tell on this is the fact that they made belts for this tournament. So it's
mm,
going to kind of be like that dynamite ring that MJF holds. They kind of like putting those like non-defendable gimmicks, like the ring and the FTW title, on bad guys.
Yeah, but then
That's
you could also have like one where they carry it for a few weeks and then they're like, okay, I'm done. Like the bad guy would, okay, kind of, here a very good analogy for everything. Kind of like Owen Hart and his Slammies. Like Owen carried his Slammies around all the time because he was Owen Hart and he was a bad guy and that's what he did. But like Brett didn't carry around his Slammies that he won for very long. I made for like a week. Neither did Sean, or any of those guys. So like that's kind of if you could have like the good guy or whatever carry it for a minute, maybe for a week or two, or and then just be like, okay, cool, that's neat, and then be done
maybe
with it.
if it was the Bret Hart tournament, but it's the Owen Hart tournament.
That's true. I am a
I
winner.
I
Woo!
I don't think I have a hard time thinking that they're gonna have two bad guys win. And to spoil a prediction coming up, the bad guy's going to win the male one. Um, it just they might, but it seems weird to me that they would do that. And I know everyone's like pretty sure that it's gonna be Britt and Adam Cole, like the couple wins the tournament thing, but I don't know. They really like Britt Baker a lot.
Because she is.
So I could see
I'll
this.
address that. She's the best character in the AEW Women's division,
Oh,
and I
she
know.
is. I'm not saying she's
Well, I mean,
over like
everybody's all butthurt on fucking Twitter about like, oh my god, why did she beat Tony Storm? It's like, man, it's because Tony Storm hasn't developed shit yet.
Tony Storm beat her twice. It's not like Tony
Get the
Storm was
fuck
just
over
fed to Britt
yourself.
Baker.
Yeah, get the fuck over yourself. Tony Storm has not been on TV, and maybe, just maybe, she has no fucking character right now. Maybe when she gets her character, she'll be there. The story is that kind of something I was talking about. Maybe her story is to beat Jade Cargill. I think that's better than her winning the Owen. No disrespect to the Owen tournament, but there's a lot of
no
stuff going there.
the most logical and like I don't know, happy is not the word, but like fulfilling story for me would be to Ruby Soho to win this. After, like you had said, she loses like opportunity after opportunity, and to me, if she doesn't win this, she's kind of like done for, in
Yeah,
my opinion. It's going to be
I
really hard to rehab her.
Yeah.
She's lost chances at both titles, then was off TV for a really long time. So if she comes up short for her third, you know, prize, like I don't, she's at her ceiling.
yeah.
I think at that point maybe they turn her and have her work on that side for a while. That's the only good thing I see. I don't think they have a lot of faith in Ruby Soho.
I
Unfortunately,
guess not for whatever reason.
I don't like saying that. I don't like that being the truth, but that's how I see it. I don't think that I think that they very quickly lost faith in her, and I don't know why. But that's how I see it.
yeah. But I feel like they could do something like this. I mean, Britt Baker doesn't need this as much as Ruby Soho. And then if they still lose faith in her, it's like, okay, whatever. Like,
You tried.
you tried, you did something, for. And I hope this isn't Ruby, but like, kind of comparing this to another single elimination tournament that's pretty big in, North America, King of the Ring. Hey, you want to see if you can make it with Ruby Soho, and then it works. You had Stone Cold. You had Brett, you had Owen, you had Stone Cold, you had Triple H. You had Ken Shamrock, and then like those all maybe the other ones more than Ken, but Ken was still a big deal then. And then in Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, Edge, but
Mm-hmm.
then you had Billy Gunn, and I'm not knocking him, but he just didn't do much after winning the King of the Ring. You had Mabel, you had you know fucking King Barrett and shit
Baron
like that.
Corbin.
Baron Corbin. Now, if you ask some people, Baron Corbin did a lot, but he didn't do some.
Remember Sheamus and his cool crown? It was like an
That was a
Irish
you
wizard or
could
something.
argue that was like a failed one because he wins it and
No,
then
it was a failed one. It was just he looked cool.
oh okay, like he got better later on, but like it was bad. But that to me, like if I'm doing this, I'm like, hey, Ruby completes her story, she does this, and then if they keep losing faith in her, if they don't think she's good enough, then it's like, okay, well, and this kills me on the inside to say, it's like, okay, she's Billy Gunn. She's like the Billy Gunn of this. We tried, we did something, and it didn't work.
Yeah, I don't think at the time I thought she should have won the TBS tournament over Jade. I now with what they've
Now
done
the
with Jade,
I was
I
going,
see why
yeah, like Jade is
why
just
they went with
too damn
Jade.
good
It
with this right
works.
now.
It
Um,
works. But at the time I wanted that. But I think um you know her it made sense. It didn't make sense for her to beat Britt. Ultimately, in long run, it didn't make sense for her to win the TBS title, given what they've done with Jade.
this makes
So
sense.
this does. So let's do this.
All right. And then as far as Tony Storm, everybody's mad about like oh Tony Storm's such a better wrestler. Britt Baker's not a good wrestler. It's like she's a better character, and
Weren't people mad that Riho lost too? Like
yeah,
really mad?
but like it was like oh there's Britt Baker, the Charlotte Flair of AEW. And it's like yeah, and Tony Storm's character is hello, I'm Tony Storm. I wrestled in a company that didn't appreciate me, and now I'm in AEW. Okay, there's no character there. Not yet, anyway. Once more is developed, I hate to tell the internet this, but hey, character means more than Dave Meltzer's stars.
I'll also say this: that being the Charlotte Flair of WWE among certain circles is a bad, or of AEW is certain circles a bad thing. But like or not, the way they presented Charlotte Flair, and it's annoyed me at times. She's undoubtedly like right beside Becky Lynch as the most like high quality. Like the booking they've done has like suited her well. I don't
CG,
like the
what's your
amount of
thoughts
title
on this?
reigns and
Because I know
everything.
how you feel about Charlotte. Let's have you weigh in.
Oh, how do I say this? Charlotte Flair's moonsault pisses me off.
That's the
Stop
whole.
doing that.
That's it.
It pisses me off so much that I can't get into Charlotte.
Oh my
And so,
god.
like the past year, the promos have been better, but every time she would get on the mic, like especially when she was supposed to be a good guy, I would cringe.
Oh, she's not a
Because
great good guy.
oh, she's horrible at being a good guy. Like she's better at being a bad guy. But for years, the promos were like this. And I just couldn't handle it. Like,
To be
I need
fair,
some emotion. I
of the
need some blue.
horsewomen, Becky is the only one that's a great promo, and Bailey's decent. Because I think Sasha Banks is a pretty bad promo too.
Sasha Banks is not a great promo.
Sasha Banks to me, I know like this is gonna get me lynch mob because we're all like supposed to be very empathetic to Sasha Banks right now. Sasha Banks to me is like the most overrated of all of them. Like I just
He's
never.
I
got
think
good work. Like,
she's great in the ring. She has a lot of like physical, like X factor
Yeah,
to
she's
her,
like a good wrestler, but
but
like
verbal charisma,
I never
no.
got into the whole like to me she looked like a little girl like going like I'm sassy. I'm sassy. I'm a diva. I'm a boss and I'm just like
I feel
yeah,
attacked right now.
not feeling this. Like in the ring,
I
she's
feel
good, but like to me,
I feel
like
very attacked
that's
personally by this. Um, no, but like, if uh, don't go back and watch like the COVID arena Raws and Smackdowns or
Don't
anything.
worry about that.
yeah.
But
I don't think anybody wants to go back and watch any of that.
but do go look at Bailey's work from that, because Bailey, bad guy Bailey, during COVID and the empty arenas was just beautiful. She just did you she didn't lie about the fact that you could hear the people that were actually in the arena, especially Michael Cole, and
Hmm.
she said all the things that we're all thinking, like, shut up, Michael Cole, nobody gives a fuck, Michael Cole. I mean, she didn't say fuck because it's WWE, but like she voiced the nation. I'm sorry, the universe. She voiced the universe as bad guy, and it was poetry in motion. It was beautiful. Chef's kiss on that one. So for that, I elevate her in her promo work, and the ding
She did
dong
level
hello.
up.
It was beautiful, beautiful
She
work.
she definitely leveled up during like
Yeah,
pandemic, because he did put the whole team on her back. Or well,
yeah.
Sasha was pretty good during that time too. But my point was like, despite being annoyed by the way Charlotte's presented, and it even goes back to like Triple H and the Reign of Terror. Like in the long run, it worked. Like Triple H is a legend. It's like just zero deniability. Charlotte Flair will be. So like that kind of like even John Cena, like constant, like you're winning all the time and everything goes your way. In a few years when it's done, it always pretty much works.
I think it would have worked at least equally over the long term if they wouldn't push it so hard. I,
With
I
who?
I think
With
I think
Charlotte?
that, yeah, Charlotte, and I mean Triple
If
H
they,
to an extent too, but like I they have so
I will say this
few.
much about Charlotte, and this is just kind of like to me, where I can see there's always sometimes when a wrestler is like shoved down your throat, you have that fuck them forever moment for a lot of fans, and you just never ever like that person again. Like for mine was Triple H beating Booker T at WrestleMania 19. That was my fuck Triple H forever. I will never like Triple H as a wrestler now because fucking he was racist for the entire program and then won in like the most burying way possible. Like he pedigreed Booker T and then took a nap and then covered him with one arm and Booker T was still dead. So it's like, yeah, so that was my fuck you forever moment with that. Some people's, you know, have that fuck you forever moment with Hulk Hogan for not putting over several people, the Royal Rumble in
Just
2015
being Hulk Hogan.
just being Hulk Hogan. You know, um, people have that with Roman Reigns. You know, whatever. Like
John Cena with the Nexus.
John Cena with the Nexus. John Cena with several people. Randy Orton with Christian. People have that. I'm never gonna like this person now because of this. And I think that Charlotte being shoehorned into Ronda and Becky was the fuck Charlotte Flair forever moment for a lot of people. Like, I will never like Charlotte Flair again because this is stupid, this is bad, and they should feel bad. So,
But I don't think we're there with Britt Baker.
I don't
To
think
get
so.
back on
I,
point.
I,
No, 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 no.
are the three of us, four counting easy in the chat, there with Britt Baker? No. Do I think that the people that the Twitter algorithm likes and gets their tweets retweeted a lot, and the Reddit people and the people that Tony Khan seemed to listen to a lot? Yeah, I think they're there. I think
Well,
they're
those are
there.
the same people that hated Cody, and they never really changed course with Cody either. So I don't
That's
know
true.
how much he really listens to them.
I also think
And
it's
the same
fun.
people that have been bitching about Chris Jericho for a year and a half too, when they haven't really stopped that either.
Yeah, I think it just kind of goes to prove that, and I know that we're all three talking about it, but maybe Twitter is not like the 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 exact foundation of what you should use to book. It's a good place to go get some feedback. But maybe you shouldn't look to Twitter for all the ideas. And speaking of something that's gonna split Twitter in half, men's Owen Hart final: Samoa Joe versus Adam Cole. Nick, who you picking and why in this one?
Adam Cole, not as bad as Ruby Soho, that he needs this, but he does kind of need it if they want to keep him. For whatever reason, he had a very middling start and then lost the title feud, and lost the Orange Cassidy feud, but has still maintained the support of a lot of the fans. He still gets big reactions, so he doesn't. He's not as in dire straits as Ruby is, but I think he needs this. And unless they're gonna present Joe as like a world ender, which I don't think they are, he doesn't necessarily need it. I also think there's that whole Jay Lethal feud going on that's probably gonna play a role in this, and yeah, I think it's just a feather in the cap that makes more sense for Adam Cole to have. Very much looking forward to the match. Samoa Joe has been awesome since he came to AEW. Like, I don't know if it was a health thing, but him not getting to wrestle in WWE these last few years is um, sucks because I kind of assumed he had lost a few steps, but he's freaking. I'm loving his matches.
Yeah. CJ, who are you picking in this one?
I'm going with Adam Cole too.
Yeah. Easy went with Adam Cole. You guys make a compelling argument, and like this was like the one where like I really didn't know who to pick, just because I'm just I'm gonna just tentatively follow the crowd in this one, but I it is like the most unsure because I'm also thinking you gotta. It is an Owen Hart tournament, and I know Owen spent most of his career as a bad guy, but like you gotta have something like happy, and Samoa Joe winning would make a lot of people happy. Um. So yeah,
Technically, I think you could say Adam Cole winning would make a lot of people happy.
yeah.
I
All right.
really wanted Kyle O'Reilly to win this tournament for some reason,
Want to see the
but
spinning tornado DDT? That's all you wanted.
man, I loved that match he had with Joe.
Yeah,
That was,
it's
and
great.
his match with Phoenix was awesome. The week before that, he's like, I
I slapped.
forgot
I
how
liked it because he
good
fucking
he
just
is.
he just beat Phoenix, which just made me feel so good. Um, like the style of wrestler that I prefer, like really beating up on a high flying wrestler. Like sometimes that gave me like a sick satisfaction. I was just so happy to see. Um, so next match is the AEW Tag Team Championship match: Jurassic Express, the champions, versus Team Taz of Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs versus Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. CJ, who you going? Why? With and why?
So, mm, it's probably going to be Starks and Hobbs, and it sounds like I'm upset about that, and that's because I am, and here's why. Because I think that ultimately they're going to pass the titles on to them to set up a feud with the Hardys to give the Hardys the titles sooner rather than later, and that part makes me sad. But I think it'll be Starks and Hobbs.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. I'm looking at Easy's comment. Starks and or Hobbs and who? I fucked that whole thing up. Nick, who you picking? Why?
Oh man, I don't know. This is a tough one. I could really see any of the teams winning. I want to say Starks and Hobbs, but I think that's because I see them losing it to either the Hardys or FTR. I think that I think that they want. I think a good guy team needs to take the belts soon, but they can't beat Jurassic Express. So I really want to go there. I think they seem to be pretty in on this Swerve and Keith Lee thing, and I've been enjoying their matches. I think they work really well together. It's kind of odd for a tag team that's not really a tag team to win the AEW title, so I don't know how I feel about that, but um, I gotta go with Starks and Hobbs, I guess.
I am going with Lee and Swerve Strickland just because I feel like they've just now gone all in on him. And they're just like, oh, you want us to do something with Keith Lee? See, he's in a tag team. See, him and Swerve. It's a good tag team. You should love this tag team. It's the best tag team. You should like this. See, we're doing stuff with them. See. That's the vibe I get. Like, I know a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
like it, and I'm not saying they're bad, but they should both be singles guys. But what do I
But there's
know?
not a lot of room right now either. I don't have too much of a problem with them starting off as a tag team.
It's not that I have like a problem with it. It's just to me like it feels very WWE. You feel
Would I
me?
have presented Keith Lee as a bigger deal from the start? Yes. But since they failed to do that, I think this is a good way of using them both because otherwise I fear that they would be off and on TV.
Mm.
Does this feel also the card looks very good to me. Um, I've yet to really be
This feels
disappointed
like
by the
other
pay per
than
view.
the House of Black and Death Triangle match. This is like the match I like. Feel like they've like just shit the bed on.
Really?
Yeah,
I feel like
like
they've done a pretty good job building this matchup.
I feel like they just did the tag team. The AEW tag team titles now feel about as meaningful as the WWE tag team titles.
I would disagree. I think that they have been weaving these stories in and out for like a month. I think this has been a decent build, but I
It doesn't feel important. It feels like, oh, hey, we got some tag teams. They put some belts on one of them. It feels very like it feels like
hmm,
WWE is booking this.
I just disagree. I don't get that feeling at all. I don't really know. I don't have any like hard data to dispute that. I just feel like they've been putting, like I said, they've been building this story together between all three of the teams for a while, and they've all been featured on TV pretty much weekly. And that three-way
FTR. It should
matchup
be a
is just
four-way
what
match with FTR in it is what should have happened. But um,
perhaps,
yeah.
but
Uh,
it'll be a good match.
I
And
don't know.
I feel like I don't know.
CJ, what do you think about like the build of this match? Do you think they AEW's doing a good job with the tag titles lately? Yeah, mouthful for
Uh,
me.
um, have they done a good job with the titles? No, because up until Starks and Hobbs and Lee and Swerve had problems, we didn't see Luchasaurus or Jungle Boy really at all. And they really didn't have any other defenses until they became kind of embedded in this feud about who gets to be the number one contender. I think that they built the feud for the number one contender fairly well. It was kind of paint by number stuff, but it was there. There was a reason. It was better than WWE in that case, where like, oh, well, people seem to like us to be in an actual tag team, so they put Lee and Swerve in actual tag team matches and bumped up their rankings and like now we're a top rated tag team or top 5 rated tag team, so we can challenge. And oh no, but you're not the top rated. And like, okay, it's pretty basic, but that's fine. At least you acknowledge you need to probably defend your tag team titles because we haven't seen them.
The only thing I will give in defense of Lee and Swerve as a tag team is like if you look back in the old days at the old like at NWA or AWA or uh, WWF tag team titles, like quite a few of them were just like, oh hey, it's that guy and that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give that a little bit of defense. Like sometimes it was just like, oh hey, it's so and so and so and so, and they were tag team champions. Okay, so like that wasn't like uncommon. It's not like something WWE just now started doing because they don't care about their tag teams. But it's something to me that I don't like for AEW because they came out the gate going, we are not doing tag team wrestling this way. It is going to be a priority. It's going to be a main event. It is important. And ever since the Young Bucks defended against Moxley and uh, Kingston last year, the belts have felt like they haven't meant shit. And I don't care how many stars the cage match at All Out got. Like, it's a good match, but nothing felt very like, besides that match, which they put a big atmosphere around, nothing felt big deal about those belts since Double or Nothing last year. My opinion, send your hate. Women's title match: Thunder Rosa, the champion, versus Serena Deeb. CJ, who you picking and why?
It should be Thunder Rosa, but I honestly wouldn't be upset to see Serena get it. I just
They've dropped the ball on Thunder Rosa so fucking bad.
it was rough. That
Oh
promo
god.
last night was rough, and
The promo was good. It was them fucking cutting her off.
yeah, well, that was the rough part. Like, and like I would have just been like, apparently I'm done. I on if it was me, I would have acknowledged that Serena D sits at Gorilla. I'm like, oh, so you're gonna cut me off with my music, huh? That's what I would have done. That's probably why I'm not a wrestler. It's probably why I'm an accountant. But I don't know. Like, this is gonna be like her second defense. She probably shouldn't lose it, but I don't have, for the amount of care that I had for when Britt Baker had championship matches, it's not there now. The
Yeah,
amount of care is not there.
they've really dropped the ball on Thunder Rosa. Like, this should have been the beginning of something huge, and it just. But yeah, Nick, who you picking and why?
I pick Thunder Rosa. Um, I've heard that she's kind of been working hurt a little bit, which might explain some of the not as great matches as we had come to expect, um, and why she hasn't really been defending. But whether or not that's true, I do think it has been underwhelming as a feud, but similar to as a title reign, but similar to the tag belts. I think that this feud has been pretty good. Um, I know a lot of people have not liked it. It's felt clunky, and I agree. It's been a little bit clunky, but I think Serena's been built up very well for a while now. Um, and I think I forgive the clunkiness because Thunder Rosa's delivery of her promos is kind of like robotic. Like she seems like she's trying to remember a script. But I also just feel like the weird, like chaotic interactions between them and the promos, it just makes it feel like, I don't know, kind of, I don't know if real is the right word, but I don't know. I've really liked the feud. I've liked the way they've built up Deeb. I wouldn't mind seeing her win it, but I think this might be the time for Thunder Rosa's reign to kick into gear.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to go with Serena Deeb as the new champion in this one.
Hmm.
I think I think Thunder Rosa is going to get a Dusty Rhodes type title reign. Oh, the thrill was in the chase, and you got it. Move on. So, I mean, if Thunder Rosa wins, I'm not going to be angry. But like you said, they're going to have to kick into high gear. But I I think we're gonna. I think they're switching gears, and Serena's been so good for so long. I think now they pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Easy pick Thunder Rosa. So, All right, now time for the match that's gonna make me sad. Hangman Adam Page, the champion, versus CM Punk, and I'm just gonna take the lead on this one. CM Punk wins, new champion. Everybody gets happy and excited and goes, "Huzzah! CM Punk won!" And then we realize a WWE guy came in and just immediately beat the best homegrown star they had, which would upset a lot of people if the company letters were different. And that's about all. That's my opinion. CJ, who do you think's gonna win?
Um, I will disagree with you just because I feel like that's my job. Let's go. Hangman wins this one. I say this one.
You think they're gonna have a ring match at? Oh no, they'll have no, you're right. They'll have the rematch at Forbidden Door, so I can be in the crowd to see this fucking douche win.
Correct.
Yeah.
But if CM Punk wins, I hope we get MJF taking the belt from Punk in Chicago. I would love that storyline personally.
Oh, I'd love that too, but I have a feeling though, if CM Punk wins, he's gonna have a reign pretty close to the reign that he had with the WWE title. Like, I feel like they're just like, this is CM Punk, you guys. Do you not understand? This is CM Punk. Why aren't you happy? This is CM Punk.
Hey, but they don't really feature their champions very prevalently on TV anymore.
Yeah.
So if he has,
maybe that'll be what it is. Oh no, then they'll start featuring CM Punk. Well, because he's CM Punk. Are you not aware it's CM Punk?
Well, then he elevates the title. So
yeah, I will say this much. I will play devil's advocate as much as I don't care for CM Punk. It is a good business decision. I will say it is a good business decision. That being said, anybody who wants to say I should like this because it's a good business decision, I'm gonna say, then why didn't you love Brock Lesnar as champion? And you ain't got a leg to stand on anymore. Nick, who you picking and why?
I really don't know with this one. This one is a very tough call for me. I can see them doing both. I can agree with them doing both. So what I want and what I think are both kind of up in the air. Generally, I would go in favor of wanting Hangman to win. I think, like we talked about before, this is kind of a make or break for him in his title reign. If he beats CM Punk, it really elevates this title reign to one of the better ones, just by the rogues gallery of people he's beaten. If he loses, he just had a really hot opening feud and then several months of mediocre feuds, and then he lost to CM Punk. And even if he beats Punk and then loses to Punk later, like a couple months from now, even then, I think that makes Hangman. So I think there's a little bit more benefit. I also agree it makes a lot of sense for Punk to get it. It makes sense in the story arc of Hangman to get it. To lose it, I mean. I don't like the build still. He kind of explained why he's so mad Wednesday, but not that well.
That's something that like I said, I really want them to explore this because I really hope this isn't just Tony Khan going, oh, no sour grapes. Sour grapes. Like, oh, the people that don't like CM Punk, they just don't want him here, and they're just being, I hope, this leads to something where, they bring up something like, oh, hey, there were a lot of rumors that CM Punk was a bully back in his independent days, and the stories are out there. I know they get conveniently forgotten quite a bit, but the stories are out there that CM Punk was everything that he condemned Wrestlers Court for being, that was CM Punk, and that could be used as oh, you claim to be some sort of.
They already played into that with Eddie.
But really, but but even with Eddie, it was hey, you were fat, you shouldn't have been here. But he was an asshole to Jimmy Jacobs. He was an asshole to Ken Kennedy, you know,
Mm-hmm.
things like that, and there's like multiple stories of like not him just being able to go like, oh well, you're fat and
No,
you're
I'm
out of
saying
shape,
that
I don't
like
like you.
AEW has shown that they're willing to explore that already.
But yeah, do that or like even like just go in the way of like, because CJ and I were talking about this watching Dynamite. Like, look at all the AEW originals that get like no TV time anymore. That like in 2020, 2021, we were going, these guys are going to carry the company, and now like we never see them. Where's Dark Order been? Other than fodder for CM Punk. We were. It was very conceivable that a year ago that John Silver could have beaten Miro for the title and brought it home for Brody, but that's not happening. Where's Orange Cassidy been? Where
He's injured.
where's a lot of these guys been?
But more so than just like, I mean, for a while they had Orange Cassidy on TV, even though he's hurt. But we really don't see any of the best friends anymore.
No,
Well, now they have a new. Trent has a new tag
Yeah.
team.
Yeah. And we're just
a
like,
new old
okay,
tag
so
team.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like back and forth with that. Like, well, what tag
R.I.P.
team is he going
Chuck.
to be in?
Yeah, it's
I think that he danced around this on Wednesday, and I don't know why they didn't just make this the storyline of I'm here to stop you because I'm AEW and you're an outsider, and CM Punk being like, "Look, dude, I'm just a fucking wrestler. I want to win the belt." Like they've danced around that storyline, but I don't know why they didn't just commit to that. That's a good. Neither guy's good, neither guy's bad. You can see both perspectives. Um, I don't know why they didn't just pull that trigger, but
yeah. Then there's also a thing of like every time Punk wins a title, he turns bad during the title win. Throughout the course of the ring, like
yeah,
he did in WWE twice. Um, he did it in Ring of Honor, and yeah. So I don't know, but I just hope that wasn't just like any good guy that doesn't like CM Punk just says it, because it's something to say. Hopefully they don't do that. And hopefully Hangman wins, because even my personal bias against CM Punk aside, like, I don't want Hangman to have been remembered as, like, the worst champion. I know the
no, me
internet. I
neither.
know the internet's gonna tell you, "Oh, it's Jericho," because, but like, no, it's been Hangman. Like, Hangman has
Yeah, I
had the
think
worst reign.
generally his reign is well received by a lot of people. I think we in this
I,
little corner
I,
are
no,
are in the minority.
no, I think his reign. I think his reign is well received because, how do I say this? People will not say that Hangman. People won't admit it was a bad reign, so they're going to say no. It was actually Jericho. Like in this,
Because he's the hot one to dunk on right now.
yes, you name something, whether he's not what the internet feels is the best wrestler now. Well, whether it be a plethora of different things, like oh Jericho's terrible. Like that's just what you gotta say. Like that is what you're supposed to think. There's a phrase I kind of think, things are good because you're supposed to think they're good. Maybe they're not actually good with this here on the internet. Like I said that
Hmm.
about like say that about Jay White. Like Jay White's good because you're supposed to think he's good. Like, I'm not like trying to go on a rant on why I don't like him, but like if someone like tries to sell me on Jay White, I'm like, well, why can't that be Cody? I see more of it with Cody, and he's apparently not any good. Oh, I see the same thing with Seth Rollins, and he's not any good. Why is it Jay White? He's Jay White. You know, he's good because you're supposed to say, oh, it's good. Oh, this is from this part that's good, so that's good. Hangman Page's reign is good because it was supposed to be. Whether or not it actually is, whether or not you changed the wrestler, the company, the everything. it'd probably be looked at as that's kind of lame. But because this was the big aha moment, the biggest aha, here's the brass ring in the history of AEW. Well, of course, no one's going to say it's bad. What kind of AEW fan are you? What kind of Hangman Page fan are you if you're not saying this is amazing? That's the vibe I'm getting. I don't think it's actually good. I feel like people say it is because you can't say it's anything but, or else you're not a real AEW fan.
Mm-hmm.
That's the vibe
Yeah,
I get.
I've just seen a lot of commentaries. People seem to like this, and they kind of are split. Like I've heard people say, like, oh, if he went beats Punk, like that's really big for him. But if he loses, he's had a great reign. And I just, I think we are all pretty much in agreement that that's not the case. But I would say I do believe we're probably in the minority, regardless of the reasoning why.
I think we're in the minority here on the internet. I think if you like took like a number of like objective people that aren't gonna like be swayed by influence, they're gonna go, that's not good. Like, don't like if you got like some real like I'm gonna look at this objectively, like, yeah, this should have been better.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And a lot of that just comes down
Kenny
to him
Omega, I don't
appearing.
see him coming back very soon at all, and I really Kenny Omega, I don't see coming back at by All Out. The rumors are that he's finding more and more problems wrong with him, and All Out is way too soon for all the new problems that Kenny Omega seems to have. That's somebody
Mm-hmm.
like that. That's another reign. Like everybody, like was it a great AEW title reign? Sure, but like Kenny Omega, like everybody's acting like he had like one of the greatest title reigns of all time. It's like no, he didn't. Like
No,
no,
because he didn't defend it and wasn't on TV that much either.
but like but like it's one of the greatest title reigns of all time because it's Kenny Omega, and it's
You
supposed to be
know,
one of the greatest title reigns. CJ, what do you think about all this argument?
I think that the people primarily who want to say like Kenny Omega had a great title reign, Hangman Page had a great title reign, base it on matches, on like star quality matches. Because in that case, Hangman had an exceptional title reign. He goes in there with a multitude of people ranging from big top stars at the top of their game to newbies and have fantastic matches. You cannot deny him that. He does
No,
when he's in the ring having a match, it has been a spectacular set of months put together from when he won that title to present.
I will say the first Adam Cole match left a lot to be desired to me.
But when that is the worst that
And
you've got,
the Archer match was just kind of like a why is this happening sort of thing.
I like that match though.
I did
but
like the
don't
match.
think
I
it's
like the match, but it's just kind of like give him some
Well, that's what
fucking
she's saying. She's
boom.
yeah,
saying
You
it's
know,
like work rate.
yeah, like if you're taking out the story of it, if you're just sitting down to watch the match, it's an enjoyable match. They've all been highly enjoyable matches. It's just in this little corner of the internet here, we like storytelling in and around our matches as well. So that's where we are finding things to be lacking. There's a big piece missing out of what he is versus what he was before he won the title. And that's this big, long story arc that at least the three of us very, very much enjoy.
I
And so
know,
I think that's the difference when there's a lot of people on the internet who only care about match quality
and
and
stars.
work rate.
And the thing, and that's also subjective because you know it's subjective to based on what corner of the internet you're on. I know, his last year, I remember kept saying like they kept having Moxley do those defenses for the U.S. title and winning, and I'm like, dude, they need that belt back in Japan. Why the fuck they keep having Mox win it? You know, and everybody's like, well, he's John Moxley. Oh my god, he's John Moxley, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I said, but if he can't be defending the title in Japan where they need it, You know, like it's before even that. Like they couldn't get him to Wrestle Kingdom. Like then he needs to be stripped. Then they need to put the belt on somebody. Like, why would you say that? Why would you want them to take a belt away from John Moxley? Like the same reason. Again, everybody wanted the belt off Brock Lesnar. If he's not going to be there, don't put the belt on him. Well, they went like, well, but Moxley has had like so many more better matches than Brock Lesnar, and I go, number one, that's debatable. Number two, we're not debating whether or not the matches are good. We're debating, can you defend your title? Is the answer no? Are you going to be there to defend your title? Is the answer no? Then therefore you should not be champion. Like that is the ground rules we set. Um, so the internet's just like, oh, that was a good match. So like, yeah, AEW is turning into like the way NXT used to be, where it's like, it's a great match. Why are you complaining? Why you want to see a better story? You get there's the match. So that's all well and good, but when you were better than that, I that's why I'm disappointed in you.
It really comes down to featuring to me because I think the last and this is a guy Moxley's a guy I like. I don't love. I like him a lot sometimes, depending on what's going on. I think he's good, very good. I don't think he's great. Like I think you know what I mean. He's like
Yeah, I mean, I was just
a
using that as an example of kind of like well, this is the person that everybody whose matches they like, so the quote unquote morality and
yeah
ethics
no.
of the situation goes out the window because we like this
It's
guy
a
and
guy
we
you
want this
like.
person to do well, and this is a popular person, whereas the exact same ethics are completely thrown out the window when it's somebody who's bad, like Lesnar.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I'm just saying like I think Moxley is between like a B and an A tier in most traits, and his promos are like an S. I think but he's a good, very good wrestler. But his title reign to me was, in retrospect, especially given that it happened during the pandemic, excellent. But he was featured a lot more than Kenny Omega or Paige were. You would go weeks at a time without really
I
having
think I
any
could
storyline
objectively say,
development.
but I will say to Moxley's defense, even though it was in the pandemic, I still say I probably enjoyed his, and you're right, I enjoyed his reign more than Kenny Omega's.
Me
But you're
too. I
supposed to,
think
but you're supposed to like Kenny Omega's more because
they've
he's Kenny Omega.
successively gotten worse. Actually, I think it goes Jericho, Moxley, Omega, Page
I go
as far as like a
Moxley,
quality.
Jericho, Omega, Page, but
But
like
Jericho and Moxley were on TV every week almost. They had storylines constantly, and this is something we've critiqued as a community of wrestling fans on the internet. Critiqued WWE about for forever. It's like remember the Attitude Era when everybody had something to do. Like even if they were on TV for 35 seconds, they were like doing some wacky thing backstage. Like all the mid carders and the belts were defended, and when AEW started, that was something that was brought back. Um, and now it's to the point where for the last year or so, your champion's barely even on TV.
right, yeah,
So they need to figure this out. The rotating thing, I think, was kind of novel and good at first, where they'd rotate guys off and on, and it works for some people. Like Archer, you can overexpose Lance Archer. You put him on Dark for a while, you bring him back, he can do a feud, and you know what I mean. I think that works for a guy like him, but other people need to be on TV most of the weeks, and your champion is certainly one of those guys. Not in matches every week, but he needs to be on TV if for continuing his storylines.
yeah. What do you think, CJ? What's your final word?
Probably don't bring back Archer though, because he literally loses every match that he's in on TV. So
Instead of
I have zero believability left there, which
it,
makes me
instead of
sad.
his, instead of his music being "Everybody Dies," it should be "Every Time I Die." That should be what his music says now.
And that's the Butcher's band.
Every time I die.
No, you just change it to like the Golden Ticket song from Willy Wonka, but
Because
you
he just
change the
jumps the
words to like,
line.
"You've got the golden shovel."
mm.
Oh, um, no, I think they have a problem deciding on if they want to focus on bigger stars or if they want to focus on their champions as a whole, because obviously this is not the only title that I have a interest problem with here at this point. So, I mean, I guess you can merge those two things and build your title up better by putting it on the stars that you want to put your trust in and make a big feature on TV. I think that that's going to bite them in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't see Bryan Danielson or CM Punk wanting to be on TV every week, or Jon Moxley for that matter, because they want to go do other things and have alternate lives. So
And again, like, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with the champion not being on TV every week. But it's also one of those, it's like, okay, we've firmly established that when other companies don't put the champion on TV every week, then they're quitting on the team and they don't know how to write and this, that, and the other. But when AEW does it, that's genius.
I think you need to look at like Jade Cargill right now. We both have like said that somebody we didn't have a lot of high hopes for, but has outshone them. And Jade does not wrestle that often, but Jade is in segments every week talking shit with Mark Sterling, setting up the next match she's going to be, stirring the pot with the baby faces. Like she's doing something on
yeah,
TV most weeks. And that's all you really need. And nobody really complains about the TBS title. Well,
Here,
that's probably the least complained about title right now.
here's
it's
kind of
probably their best title right now.
well,
Because of that, because she wrestles when
and you're
she
right
needs
because
to.
like look at, for instance, Stone Cold Steve Austin didn't wrestle on Raw every week, but you can damn well bet
Nor
when
should your champion. They should not
but you
wrestle
can
every
damn
week.
well bet he got in
No,
that ring every week and kind of threw his middle finger up
Beat
and
up
said,
Santa Claus.
or beat up Santa
Did
Claus or
something.
beat up Patterson or Briscoe or Sergeant Slaughter and threw his middle finger around and drank a beer and said, "Oh hell yeah," and I'm gonna whip your ass, and that was fine. And
You know who else has
Ric
been
Flair did
doing
not
that?
wrestle every week, but he went out there and said, "And I'm gonna kick Dusty's ass, and I'm gonna kick Sting's ass, and I'm gonna kick Ronnie Garvin's ass, and I'm gonna kick Magnum TA's ass, and you're gonna be very upset when the Horsemen walk out with all the gold again." And it worked. They don't have Hangman just. They didn't have Ric Flair just not show up and go like, "Oh yeah, but that Ric Flair feller, oh he's here," or "Oh that's Stone Cold Steve Austin. By God, he's the man, ain't he?" He was there.
Punk, MJF, and to an extent Adam Cole have also they're frequently on TV. And I think you could easily make an argument that whether we think Adam Cole is worth what people say he is, they have gotten as strong as, if not stronger, reactions than when they first started. Um, and they don't wrestle every week. Punk wrestles probably the most of the three, but they're on TV pretty much every week, and no one really complains too much about what they're doing either. They're doing stuff. They're setting up storylines. They're talking. They're cutting a promo. I think Punk's the best example of that. Punk's very rarely not on television.
Hmm?
yeah, and MJF is the only one of those that is young and an AEW original guy and
Is there every week.
is
Yeah.
I mean we were seeing a lot of Sammy too, and that probably
Well, that was great for a while. Sammy being on
it
TV
was
all the
fine
time.
until they turned and
They're doing it
oh
so bad.
Yeah, that's a debate for a different day because I could complain about that for a long time.
Yeah, so bad.
I think, yeah, I
That,
just
that belt's
they've just
dead.
fallen into
It's a
this
dead
pattern of
belt.
they've fallen into this pattern of the champion doesn't do any storyline progression or character work, and then they show up and they're like, "You're not gonna take my title from me," and then they have the feud they have like a couple weeks of feuding and then the match,
Yeah.
and that's like piss poor.
Yep. But hopefully this pay-per-view isn't piss poor, and we want to
I
thank
doubt
you
it will
all.
be.
And we want to thank you all for joining us. If you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe. Check out the Geeking Out podcast. Easy and I watched the second episode of Monday Nitro, so definitely watch along with us. Follow me on my social media pages and look for the post on Facebook and Instagram at Athletic Geek 89 to enter the contest. All prizes are double for double or nothing, and I am on Twitter at athletic_geek89, where you can tell me that I need to eat shit and die because I don't love this title reign. Um, I've been told that a couple times. CJ, do you still have social media?
I still have a Twitter for hate mail at CJTeamall0.
And Nick, do you still have a Bebo or a MySpace or a tout?
I do have a tout. Happens to weirdly also be at CJ Team All Zero.
Okay.
Please comment on the live journal.
Speaking of CM Punk, Live Journal. Remember,
Yeah.
that was like his thing back in like he never had anything, but he had like Live Journal where he would just post like whatever he was thinking. And like
He's been an internet boy for a long time.
yeah, he was like the original internet boy. But
He's one of the first wrestlers to really use Twitter a lot too.
The OG emo kid.
yeah.
Yes.
But for CJ, Nick, and EZ, we are just Marks, and we're out. Have a good one.